Anthony Hartwig here with a Lakeview girls basketball coaches corner and season preview. We're joined by the head honcho of the Lakeview team, Jason Lee, coming on. Jason, coach, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us today.
Thanks for having me.
This Lakeview program has a lot of things to be excited about, but before we get to that, let's have a little bit of a recap of last season for all the people that don't have basketball maybe fresh in their minds at this point, and all the lessons that you think the returning players can learn from last year's experience.
Yeah, I think last season was, I've never seen a team that I've coached buy into a system as fast as these girls bought into a system last year. And winning 15 games and literally being 2 possessions away from winning a conference championship the first year that a system gets put in, I think was amazing. We have 7 letter winners returning from last year. And these girls, honestly, like they love playing this system. And I can't thank them enough for buying in the way they did. And I think that's one of the reasons why we had so much success last year.
Like you said, there's a lot of returning players on this team, maybe the most in the conference. When you think about, what other teams lost, there's a lot of returning players. How do you balance the confidence of what we did last year with it's a new season, nothing's guaranteed, and we still have to go work and earn the same things that we got last year?
Well, I think that's one of the great things about these girls is they understand that with team success comes individual success. And so they're willing to push forward every day. And I mean, it's crazy to watch some stuff at practice, how hard these guys hustle in practice, because I know people look at the games and they think, man, like these girls work hard. When you're pressing 32 minutes a game, I think that you need 8 or 9 bodies. And last year we were trying to do it like probably 1 short. This year, now we're 2+ with the addition of a new senior that came out. So I think that, you're going to see an even more active Lakeview team than you did last year. So I think that's going to help us because, everybody's worried about individual success on a lot of these other teams. And these guys really don't worry about that here.
Let's talk about the roster and the names that we're going to know. Obviously, a lot of familiar faces, but I'm sure there's some new ones too. So go down the names we need to hear for Lakeview girls basketball this year.
I think that the big ones are the returners. We have our 4 seniors, 4 juniors from last year, 4 seniors this year. Mackenzie Stowe is not starting the season with us due to an injury, so she's going to be out for a little bit. But then we've got Calissa, Isabella, and Annie. Those 3 right there, they are such hard workers. And, we were watching film this last week and somebody started with the ball at half court and our girls started the block and they caught her at the other end. And I don't think that's just speed. I think that's just work ethic. And those 3 seniors set the pace for that. So we've got those 4 coming back. We've got our last year sophomores, 2 juniors this year. We've got Paige Swartz, who has really made some great improvements this year with her ball handling and shooting. And then we have last year's sharpshooter and Sophie Irwin coming back. She's coming back off of an injury right now, but she had the 52 threes last year in a season, which I think is going to be really important. And then we have 2 more additions that I think are really going to help us. We have McKenna Duran is a senior who came back out after 2 years away from the hardwood, and she is just, she's all over the place. Her defensive capability and rebounding is astonishing. You wouldn't even think she was away when you look at her technique. And then we have freshman Ella Goff that's probably going to get a lot of time with her ball handling skills and shooting ability. So, you look at that roster, and especially when we get Mac back, and that's a pretty deep roster.
The roster is going to have to face a really big challenge in the schedule. We'll start with the NE8 last year, probably the most fun conference in the area because literally everyone could beat everybody. The winner, Girard, still had 3 losses in the conference, so you knew you're going to have to earn your way to the top of the conference. What do you see out of it this year? What are some things that you're expecting out of the NE8, and how can Lakeview make that next step and get to the top?
Well, I think that a big thing for us is it is anybody's game in the NE8, and I think that's why I love being in this conference. I know there was talk about us changing conferences, and that still might happen in the future. But when I cast my vote, I said, I love this conference. I love playing in it because every night is a challenge, and these girls know that. We've talked about that we can't take anything for granted, and that every possession counts. I know some people are like, hey, we've got this weak spot in our conference that we can kind of cruise through. We don't have that. And knowing that and these girls taking every possession seriously, I think is really going to benefit us this year. And that was a hard concept for us to learn last year because these girls were learning how to win. And with that came a couple of hiccups where we lost ones that really we should have kind of won. We lost 4 of our conference games by 4 points or less. And to me, those are just learning lessons that build for a better team this year.
When you go up and down your roster and you see those names, you have a lot of girls that won a conference in softball, went to state in softball. How much do you think that kind of experience and knowing what it takes to get to that kind of level kind of helps your locker room in basketball?
Well, not only softball, but our volleyball program here at Lakeview. We've got a couple of volleyball players that are playing varsity basketball as well. And, the success that our volleyball team and softball team has had in the last few years, I think that really helps us out a lot because although that they haven't really won in years past on the basketball court as much as we would like here at Lakeview, we have really built towards a winning culture in those other sports. So I think that, looking at the softball team and volleyball teams, it's really helped me out to get some of those leaders that already know what it takes to win, and they're just applying it to the game of basketball.
When you go outside the league and you talk about the conference, non-conference schedule, I should say, what are some teams that really excite you that pop up that are going to test you guys and get you ready for tournament play?
We tried to pick up some games this year to really challenge us in the non-conference. Mogador went deep in the tournament last year. We picked up McDonald, who's also going to be really good. We played Maplewood in the non-conference. And so, there's some of those games in the non-conference that I think that can really, LeBray, so those right there, those are 5 really good teams that I think that when you play those non-conference games, that they're not like an easy pushover. It helps your team build better for a successful, not only tournament run, but that in-season conference play that's going to be really tough this year.
Obviously, we saw your varsity team really, and your junior varsity, by the way, pick up the system really fast that you've been talking about. But also the other part of kind of growing a program is the youth level. Talk about how much the youth level has grown from year 1 to year 2 and how much you're starting to see growth in the ages below high school.
I know, it's funny you say that because I know some coaches are really hands off with their youth, and I am not. I love being down there. I love seeing these girls play hard and have fun. And I think that's the big thing is to fall in love with the game at an early age. We have 90 girls signed up for our youth program here at Lakeview. We have 2 teams for 6th grade, 2 teams for 5th grade, 2 teams for 4th grade. So when you look at those numbers, I think it's really, really, really positive for the future. And those girls, when I go down there and I walk in the gym and see them having fun and having running over to me and yelling about Coach Lee, watch this, it makes me feel great. Honestly, I wish I could duplicate myself so that I could go down there and coach them and still stay up here at the varsity level. But we have a phenomenal group of coaches, our elementary coaching staff, our junior high coaching staff, our varsity coaching staff. We have everybody back this year. And so it's really nice to come in and say, I would trust any of my coaches down there with those girls because they're going to teach them the love of the game as well.
The end of that answer was a perfect segue into the way we end all of our coaches' corners and season previews. Want to give you the chance to talk about your staff and the people that work with you, the people that help you make this program what it is. So talk about the people with you and let them know that they have the limelight too.
Oh, let me tell you, my staff is phenomenal. Everywhere I've been, I've worked with people that are not only great with basketball knowledge, but just great with kids and love the game. And these guys are no exception. I mean, Kim Clark, any school district would love to have her. Kim Clark and Kristen Clemson are both college athletes that can really set the tone for these girls and let them know what it takes to be successful, not only at this level, but if they want to go to the next level, which a lot of our girls are in other sports, what it takes to do that. So those 2 are just great to have on staff. And then we have Dante Dawson helping me out. He's an ex-player of mine, just a phenomenal resource for the girls. He's always uplifting and the girls love being around him. And, then it's crazy to think about, I've got that many people at the varsity level and I've got 4 coaches at the junior high level this year. And all 4 of them are just loving it up with those girls this year. It's just crazy to think about that we have 8 coaches in a 7 to 12 program here helping build this future for Lakeview.
Coach, we want to thank you so much for coming on, talking to us about your program and what the season holds. We're excited for it. We'll be out there a ton to cover you guys, and we can't wait to see you real soon.
Sounds good, Anthony. Thank you very much, and happy Thanksgiving.